In this lesson, I'm going to introduce you to the Setting Preferences option. And it's very easy to access. It's under your Edit menu, and it's all the way at the bottom. You can get to that by hitting Control K or Command K on the Mac. And we basically have a whole list of preferences. If you are a Photoshop power user, then this is probably a very important option for you. I don't really deal with preferences too much. I'm pretty comfortable with the way things are set up. So I'm just going to give you a general overview, and when you become a Photoshop power user and you have very specific ideas about how you want things to function within Photoshop, then by all means get in touch with your inner control freak and go into preferences and change it all. So one right here, beep when done. If you're interested in having a beep after you complete a command, go ahead and click it on. This export clipboard, that's the default setting. Go ahead and unclick that. Unless you are copying and pasting between a whole bunch of different Adobe programs all at once, you don't really need to have that clicked. It also kind of slows things down. I want you to also turn off this Use Shift key for tool switch. Remember in the tool lesson, I showed you how to use keyboard commands to scroll through different submenus on the toolbar. Instead of using the Shift key to go through all those different submenus, you can just use the actual letters, say H for Hand Tool, or Z for the Zoom tool, or V for the Move tool. If we go over here to Interface, here are just some different options in here. If you want to show the menu colors, if you want to change your full screen mode, which we just looked at, to a different color, say white or something other than that, you can do that. Under file handling, we have some options here in dealing with file compatibility. We have it clicked here to ask us if we want to save a layered TIFF file. I don't really care either way. Under performance, this is important. We have memory usage. And if you're running a bunch of different programs at once, you don't want them all competing for memory time. I would keep this at around, say, 50%. That seems like a very safe memory usage. If you're working with partitioning external servers and various other things, if you're jumping over to that kind of stuff, you probably know more than I do when it comes to memory performance. If we jump over to cursors, that basically gives us some options in terms of how we want to define our cursors. If we have standard, that is this ubiquitous brush here, I can't always see what I'm painting with, so I have normal brush tip, and then I also clicked the crosshair so I could actually see where it is I'm sampling. Same with my other cursors. Say if we get into the clone stamp tool, I also picked the precise cursor. Transparent and gamut, don't really need to deal with that. Units and rulers. This is set to inches. We also have the option of setting pixels, centimeters, millimeters, points, picas. It really depends on what you're doing with Photoshop and if you need a very specific kind of measurement. I tend to stick with pixels because Photoshop is a pixel-based program. If we open a new document, we can pick the resolution and the screen resolution. If we jump over here to guides, grids, and slices, you can change the color of your guides. We haven't really looked at guides yet. Plugins, again, if you're a Photoshop power user, I'm sure you're going to get all crazy with your plugins, and I'll let you deal with that when you get to that. Bridge, and then type. Don't really deal with any of that. So that is the overall general preference menu. Let's move over to the next lesson, and I will show you one of the most important things you need to know, which is undoing mistakes.